I ask you to read the chapter in Stone's policy paradox titled Facts, and I draw your attention to three aspects of this chapter in particular: propaganda, naming, and withholding. So let's start with propaganda. What is the difference between persuasion and propaganda? The difference between education and indoctrination, Stone asks. Well, she says, propaganda is intentionally manipulative and disguises the true motive of the speaker, meaning the person doing the propagandizing. And indoctrination robs the listener of the capacity to think independently. So when does persuasion become propaganda? When does education become indoctrination? Those are questions I want you to ask. They should be part of your mental checklist whenever you're trying to analyze a particular given public policy and its efficacy. The second point that I draw your attention to in this chapter titled Facts is naming. Stone says naming is not neutral. It's an inherently political choice, and it's also a heuristic, a shortcut. So think about what that means for policy analysis, using shortcuts through naming. She also makes the point that policy advocates and policy opponents can name the same event, process, or group of people different things. So think about that. Think about the tendency of policy advocates and opponents to ascribe different names to the very same event, process, or group of people. And think of all the power that's involved in making sure that your name dominates the discourse. And the third point in this chapter I draw your particular attention to is withholding. Stone says that withholding information can be as effective a means of indoctrination as providing information. I think this is such an important point. I really want you to think about this. This should be part of your mental checklist too, whenever you're analyzing a particular public policy and trying to determine its efficacy. Ask yourself, what am I not seeing? What am I not hearing? What is it that the advocates or the opponents are not telling me? In order to find out what really happened and why, what else do I need to know?